congratulate the council on announcing the date of the vote on the most important economic development project in the history of Washington, D.C.
You heard it here. There will be a vote on the RFK Stadium deal to bring the Washington Commanders back home. But this version of the deal, a lot different from the original. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday afternoon. Good to see you as always. I'm Larry Miller. As your official station of the Washington Commanders, we've been closely following this breaking news all day long. Our Rafael Sanchez crew live outside of the Wilson building breaking down what exactly is in this new deal. Rafael?
Yeah, Larry, Chairman Phil Mendelson says this is a tentative financial agreement. So let's talk big picture. The deal that Mayor Muriel Bowser with the Commanders, and we're talking about the numbers, those stay the same. The Commanders are still going to have to pay $2.7 billion. DC taxpayers will still pay $1.1 billion. But Mendelson says he got to the negotiating table keeping in mind what's best for DC taxpayers, and he thinks he got a better deal.
I'm confident that we will have the votes necessary next week.
DC Council Chairman Phil Mendelson says they've reached a stadium deal with the Washington Commanders that's better for district taxpayers.
I wanted to make sure that this deal generated more revenue for District of Columbia taxpayers, and that's been done. We're talking about $950 million that did not exist in the deal that we received from the mayor.
That includes more than $670 million in taxes on merchandise, food and beverage, and a new 18% parking tax, all going to DC's general fund.
The parking tax is pretty standard.
The Commanders will keep the ticket taxes, which will go towards maintaining the stadium. Councilmember Brooke Pinto says the new agreement also increases the funds for educational and youth programming.
The community benefits package that the team is going to be providing to the district is a $50 million fund. That started off a couple weeks ago at $25 million.
The mayor should be pleased with this.
Mendelson insists he did not drag out this process for the sake of delaying the deal. So what was it? The threat from Republicans on Capitol Hill or President Donald Trump?
I would say the biggest factor with regard to time was the team said, look, we're willing to make this deal sweeter for the district if you can get to a vote this month.
400 plus people have signed up. They're going to be ready to testify, and they're like, well, it seems like it's a done deal.
I asked Mendelson why a deal had been reached before next week's public hearings on the stadium deal.
Well, I think it's important that we still hear from the public. I expect that a lot of the testimony is going to be very simple.
The council members who negotiated the deal say the tentative agreement only focuses on finances. They insist public input played a huge deal in their negotiations and that there's still time to address community impacts.
Traffic mitigation and parking flow and a lot of those terms are still going to be nailed out even after we have the first vote.
Now, what happens if the stadium ends up costing more than expected? Mendelson says those additional costs will be on the Commanders, and they've agreed to that. The first vote on the RFK Stadium deal is scheduled for next Friday. As for the second vote, that will come mid-September, Larry. Live outside the Wilson building, I'm Rafael Sanchez Cruz. Back to you.
Well, that's certainly an important note that you mentioned there, Rafael, because in that report that was commissioned by the council, one of the issues that was laid out specifically was whose responsibility is it to pay for overruns. So it looks like that's been resolved, and that's certainly good news there. Rafael, thank you so much.